Right now at noon, President Trump teases a major announcement about autism, what the administration is expected to say, and why doctors are pushing back. Plus, how the Packers are getting a dose of reality after last-second loss to the Browns. This is News 3 Now at noon. Thanks for joining us on a Monday afternoon. I'm Josh Spreiter. Happening today, the woman accused of killing two teens in a wrong-way crash over the summer will be back in court. Noelia Martinez Avila faces multiple counts of homicide by intoxicated use of a vehicle. The State Patrol says she was driving the wrong way on I-3990 near DeForest on July 20th, crashing into an SUV. Her case drew widespread attention after ICE detained her following her initial release on bond. A judge later increased her bond from $250,000 to $5 million and ordered she be returned to the Dane County Jail. She is scheduled in court at 2 o'clock this afternoon for a status conference. Happening tonight, you can learn more about the John Nolan Drive project. The city, DOT, and contractor will be on hand to answer questions. This is happening at 6:30 p.m. on Zoom, so it is virtual. You can register on the City of Madison's website. A recording will also be available if you can't attend. Construction starts early next month, but there's not an exact start date yet. Work won't wrap up until 2027. Today, the City of Madison is shutting down a portion of the Capital City Bike Trail on the Isthmus for storm sewer work. The project will also impact street parking along East Main Street to make room for detours. The trail will be closed between South Blount and South Brewerly Streets until further notice. City officials say the project is expected to be done by November 15th, but there's no word yet on whether the trail will reopen before then. SSM Health is opening its doors to its newest outpatient center in Sun Prairie. The 90,000 square foot facility offers improved access for eye care and orthopedic surgical services. It also features an on-site pharmacy, an optical lab, and retail optical and laboratory services. The center was designed with sustainability, energy efficiency, and restorative health in mind. Well, a rainy start to the work week. First Warn meteorologist Jacob Montesano has your certified most accurate forecast, and even some severe weather earlier this morning, Jacob.
Yeah, there were a few severe thunderstorm warnings across parts of the region. Haven't seen that for the last couple of hours, but we continue to see some showers and storms. Now, what you're seeing on radar is kind of going to be the story all day. A few areas seeing the showers and thunderstorms, but likely not going to cover everyone. Now, the heaviest rain so far has been to the north of Madison, but all that rain that we're seeing we've seen to the north of Madison really in a dissipating state, but to the south it's kind of the opposite. Rain has kind of increased over the last couple of hours. You could see a few lightning strikes there, but at this point in time we're not seeing any severe weather. Also further to the northwest near La Crosse, there are a few showers and thunderstorms gathering there that are expected to impact areas to the west and northwest of Madison. Now, as I mentioned, the heaviest rain so far mostly north of Madison in the northern portion of our area. About an inch, if not a little bit more, of rain has occurred for some areas. A lot of the region, though, hasn't seen too much, especially for places to the south. Now, we saw some severe weather earlier in the morning. Although we're not seeing it right now, we're going to continue to see the potential for that severe weather. An isolated risk of strong storms will be there for pretty much the entire day into the overnight hours. So looking at future track, again, it's just really going to be on and off. Looks like the best chance of those strong storms will be kind of in the middle of that evening time frame. It's not going to cover the entire area at one given time, but just about everybody will see a pretty good chance of these showers and thunderstorms. And the best chance overnight will be early. Once we get towards the later overnight hours and into very early Tuesday, a lot of that will clear out. But I'll continue talking about a few more chances of rainfall after today, coming up a bit later.
All right, Jacob, we'll see you then. Thank you. President Trump says his administration will make a major announcement about autism, but medical professionals are pushing back and worry about the impact on expectant mothers. Natalie Brand is at the White House.
I think we found an answer to autism.
President Trump has teased what he's calling a major announcement on autism in the U.S.
It's out of control. Autism, out of control.
Earlier this month, the Wall Street Journal reported the administration is expected to suggest acetaminophen, the active ingredient in Tylenol taken during pregnancy, and low levels of folate among the potential causes of autism.
The best evidence does not show an association between Tylenol and autism.
CBS News medical contributor Dr. Celine Gounder.
The best recent study looked at 2.5 million kids from Sweden. They used sibling comparisons to factor out genetic factors and other factors, and they found no increase in risk in autism, ADHD, or other intellectual disabilities for pregnant women who used Tylenol during pregnancy.
Ahead of the White House announcement, the company that owns Tylenol is pushing back and says it's worried about consumer confusion and the impact on expecting mothers. In a statement saying, "We believe independent sound science clearly shows that taking acetaminophen does not cause autism." Experts say failing to treat medical conditions that warrant the use of acetaminophen, like a high fever while pregnant, could be far more dangerous.
If you have a high fever during pregnancy, that can cause neurodevelopment issues in the baby, so you don't want to let that fever go untreated.
The Washington Post also reports the Trump administration plans to promote a drug derived from folate called leucovorin as a potential autism treatment. Doctors say there may be evidence it can help a subset of autism patients who have a folate-related defect with speech and communication. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Tylenol has long been considered a safe drug for pain relief and fever reduction in pregnant women, since Advil or generic ibuprofen is not recommended. Well, it was a highly emotional memorial service over the weekend for conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Tens of thousands of people jamming Arizona's NFL stadium for Sunday's event, with thousands more outside. Several members of the president's inner circle and cabinet spoke. The memorial was also as a call to action. Turning Point was actively registering new voters as they came into the stadium. President Trump told attendees he plans to award Kirk the nation's highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. To Green Bay now, it is fair to say the Packers will have some issues to address this week. Fourth quarter in Cleveland, 3 minutes or so left. Packers left with the ball and a 7-point lead, and Jordan Love throws an interception. That puts the Browns in position for Quinshon Judkins to punch it in. It is now tie game, but the Packers would get a chance to put it away with 27 seconds left. Brandon McManus from 43 yards blocked. The Browns are going to get it back. 2 seconds left. Browns drill the 55-yard kick to put the Pack away. 13-10 Cleveland. Packers will head to Dallas to face the Cowboys this weekend on Sunday Night Football. Well, still ahead for us on News 3 Now at noon. If you have a question or concern about your plants or garden, now's the time to send us your questions via email to tips@channel3000.com. Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company will join us later in the broadcast with the answers. But first at noon, what movies finished on top of the weekend box office, plus why there are now new concerns over job cuts.
More than 3,000 pounds of Kirkland signature brand ahi tuna wasabi poke in clear containers have been recalled over concerns that the product could be contaminated with listeria. The poke was sold by Costco stores in more than 30 states across the U.S. The FDA says no illnesses have been reported so far. Consumers should throw away the product and return to their local Costco for a full refund. Amid signs of an already cooling labor market, there are new concerns over job cuts. A Resume.org survey of 1,000 U.S. business leaders found that 6 in 10 companies plan to lay off workers next year. 1 in 3 say they'll implement layoffs before the end of 2025. According to the report, economic uncertainty is the main reason given for the job cuts. The workers most at risk are high earners and those lacking AI skills. And domestic movie ticket sales were down over the weekend by nearly 50% compared to last weekend. Demon Slayer Infinity Castle was the top film, taking in more than $17 million. The Jordan Peele-produced football horror film Him debuted second with more than $13 million. And another horror flick, The Conjuring Last Rites, rounded out the top 3, also scaring up around $13 million. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Jesse Mitchell.
Here's a look at the current stock numbers at the noon hour. The Dow's up 56 points, NASDAQ up 131, and the S&P 500 up right now 23. After the break, we'll have today's farm numbers along with the first warn forecast. Then later on Live at 4, Will Loper with what to stream this week. Pam Yankee is out of the radio barn today, so here are your farm numbers. Now to your first warn forecast, here's meteorologist Jacob Montesano. Hi, Jacob.
Hey, Josh. As we look at the three things you need to know, we're going to continue to see some thunderstorm activity for the rest of today into tonight. And as we take a look at the temperatures, we are going to see kind of seasonable temperatures for the next couple of days. Warm temperatures once we get towards the end of the week and the weekend. Now, taking a look at the current radar, we are seeing those scattered showers and storms right now. Nothing too significant at the moment, but we do have we did have some severe weather earlier in the day, but in general, we are just going to see a whole lot later, although there is still that possibility. Now, as we take a look at the severe weather outlook for today, again, there is an isolated risk for much of the area. So although we do have the chance to see that severe weather, it's not going to be too widespread. And as far as the most likely hazards, we're going to continue to see some strong winds and some hail, very minor flood risk, but for the most part, we aren't going to see too much flooding, and the tornado risk is just about zero. Now, as we take a look at future track, again, just kind of on and off storms for much of the day. The best chance of severe weather does look to be during that evening time frame, and that chance does look to continue into the overnight hours. And then as we get towards the later overnight hours, a lot of that initial thunderstorm activity will clear up. Now, we're going to continue to see the chance of some showers for the next few days, but they're going to be a lot more isolated. So for Tuesday, just going to see a small chance of rain. That's going to continue into Wednesday and Thursday as well. Right now, there isn't really a risk of severe weather, but we definitely will keep an eye on that, mostly just in the form of some showers. Not even really going to see a lot of thunderstorms in general. So Thursday will kind of be the last day we see these isolated showers, and then once we get to Friday, we are expected to be dry, but we also are going to be warm once we get to that time frame as well. Now for today, we're going to see those high temperatures in the middle 70s. Even when it's not raining, we're going to see a decent amount of cloud cover. A few 80s are possible out there, but in general, we're mostly going to stay in the 70s. A little bit cooler for tomorrow. Still going to see plenty of cloud cover when it's not raining. High temperatures in the lower 70s. And then those lower 70s, they're going to continue for Wednesday and Thursday. But then as we get towards the end of the week, we're going to get to the upper 70s, possibly some lower 80s. And right now, those much above normal temperatures towards the end of the week, they're going to continue into next week as well. Right now, we're mostly looking at highs in the 70s, but definitely could see a few 80s from time to time.
Gotta love a microphone issue, right?
Yeah, right.
What you don't see on TV is Jacob talking into my microphone because his died during the weather. Well, today we're going to see what Howard's working on. He's talking chicken in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Did you know that the average portion of fried chicken has more than 500 calories and over 20 grams of saturated fat? Well, it does. Now, if you're thinking, no more fried chicken for me, think again, because we came up with an easy version that is just as good and has less than half the calories and fat. Here's all we do. We begin by marinating a whole cut-up chicken in a mixture of beaten eggs, cider vinegar, Worcestershire sauce, hot pepper sauce, and a few off-the-shelf spices. Okay, after the chicken is coated, we cover it, and into the fridge it goes so all the flavors really sink in. Just make sure you turn the chicken a few times so all the parts get equal attention. After it's marinated, we bread each piece in some instant potato flakes. From there, they go skin side down into a baking dish lined with melted butter. Once all the chicken's coated, into the oven it goes. This is one of those recipes that's way better when you turn each piece halfway through cooking it, so it browns evenly. When it comes out of the oven, it's time to say hello taste and goodbye guilt with a recipe that is not only down home good, but that is down in fat and calories. I hope you'll go online and get our recipe for our crispy baked chicken so you can serve your family a dish that's not only good, it's good for them. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where every day we're looking for a better way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Ahead at noon, Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company is here answering your plant and gardening questions. Email them to tips@channel3000.com. We'll get the answers next. Welcome back at noon. Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company is here answering your plant and gardening questions. Email them now to tips@channel3000.com. Hi, Lisa.
Hello.
Our table looking very fall today.
It is looking very autumnal.
This big thing.
Happy first day of fall.
I know. We're just like, what, a few minutes away. It's going to be happening here within the next hour.
I think a small cat could live under here, honestly, and never be seen again.
You know, a lot of the porches in my neighborhood already are filled with these.
Yes.
They're beautiful.
Yes, they are. And a lot of ours are not in flower yet because it's been cloudy, but when they start to flower, they're pretty glorious.
And not
like
hard
floral.
to take care of either.
They tend to be over potted.
Okay.
Because they start doing this whole kind of pinching back situation early. And so they tend to have a lot of roots. So really should be checked for water like every day when the temperatures are warmer. Because they dry out really fast.
Especially now since it's so warm outside.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Hey, let's get to the questions this afternoon. We're going to start with Florence. Florence says she has amaryllis bulbs with babies on the sides. How should she store the bulbs and what should she do with the babies to get them to rebloom?
Okay, so I had a friend who had amaryllis tons, and they're called bulblets. And they start little new bulbs around the base. I used to send them to my mother. She lived in Florida, and she would put them in her garden. So that's one thought. If you know somebody who lives south of here, because they are a tropical plant, they're from South Africa, you could pass them down and they could put them in their garden. My mom had amaryllis in her yard every year. Otherwise, you're just going to have to pot them up, and it will take some time because they don't really start to flower till they get about fist size, and the bulblets are probably about as big as like the tip of your thumb. So you would just pot them up and let them have foliage, and then every year just sort of fertilize them. But like I said, I used to take them down to my mom.
That is cool. Yeah, I love that. All right, question number 2 comes from Mark. Mark has older varieties of hydrangeas that do not flower. Would he be better off replacing them with newer, better flowering varieties?
So lots of the old hydrangeas flowered on old wood, and given that we had zone 4 winters, all the flower buds were killed, and so you'd have a green plant, but hardly ever any flowers. Now, newer varieties are really good at flowering from the new shoots from the base that will flower. Also, our climate is warming up a little bit. I would give them one more chance. Maybe mulch them this winter and don't cut them back till the spring. So once the ground is frozen, put about 8 or 10 inches of mulch on the crown, and then don't do any trimming until next spring when the new leaves come out. That way you might be able to preserve some buds. If they don't flower after that, I would just replace them with newer ones.
Question number 3, Kathy says she has a hydrangea tree in the southeast corner of her home and it's turning dry, looking and never bloomed. It's the second year. What can she do or should she move it?
So southeast corner sounds like it's getting a good enough light. A tree hydrangea, it's usually panicled hydrangea, need 4 to 6 hours to flower. 5 is better than 4, so check how much sunlight it's actually getting. If it's getting enough sun, they're pretty adaptable as far as soil conditions are concerned, but they don't like the soil to be hot. So if it's in an area where you maybe have it mulched with stone, I would change that out to bark mulch. Make sure it gets well watered. The other thing is that the pruning, they do prune on new growth, but if you let them go and you sort of prune them midsummer, at that point you're probably cutting off flower buds.
All right, I think we have time for one more question. Linda sent us some photos that I showed you before we came back. She thinks it's a money tree.
It is.
That's awesome, and it has been healthy, but lately has these spots on the leaves. What causes this, and how can she remedy it?
So it's looking stippled, and stippling can be signs of something like an insect infestation, like spider mites or something like that, or it could be a nutrient deficiency. It's hard to tell from the photo. If you're in town and you want to bring it by the plant desk and have them take a look at it, you can do that. Garden center's open 9 to 6, Monday through Saturday, on Sunday 11 to 4. I would, though, just in case it is spider mites, we'd appreciate it if you put it like in a grocery bag or something so that if we have other plants around the desk, we can move them out of the way.
There you go. All right, Lisa, as always, thank you. Appreciate it. Let's go to Jacob now for a final check of your forecast.
Thanks, Josh. We are going to continue to see the chance of rain today. Small chance of rain for the next couple of days as those temperatures do drop a little bit with highs near 70 for the middle of the week. But then we're going to see highs in the upper 70s, if not maybe lower 80s by the end of the week and the weekend, continuing into next week. And we're also going to be very dry during this time period. So we may get another taste of summer before it's all said and done, as we'll see some pretty warm temperatures, especially compared to normal towards the end of the 10-day forecast.
Jacob, thank you. Thanks for watching News 3 Now at noon. Coming up next is The Bold and the Beautiful. Our next newscast is live at 4. And a reminder, you can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+. Make it a great day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.